The Grand Assembly Hall was the largest room Park had ever seen. It floated in space, attached to a moon she could not pronounce. 400 young beings from 67 different worlds sat in curved rows that went up and up like a giant bowl. Some had scales, some had fur, some had no faces at all, sat in the back row, wearing the same gray uniform as everyone else, trying not to stare. She was the smallest person in the room. Most aliens here were tall. Some had 4 arms. Some had 8 legs. One creature near the front was just a floating ball of light, kept her hands folded in her lap and waited. Commander walked onto the stage. He was from a world called, where gravity was weak and creatures grew tall and thin. He had 8 arms that moved like water and a voice that echoed without any machine to help it. "Welcome to the Galactic Military Academy," he said. "You are here because your worlds chose you. You are the best, the strongest. But being the best on your world means nothing here. Here, you will be tested against the galaxy itself." The room was silent. 400 cadets barely breathed. Raised one of his many arms and the lights went dark. A hologram appeared above the stage. It was a planet, blue and green and white, spinning slowly in the black of space. His heart jumped. She knew that planet. She had lived on that planet for 22 years. "Earth," this said, "is what we call a Category 9, the highest danger rating possible." Whispers moved through the crowd. Heard words in languages she did not understand, but she understood the tone. Fear, disgust, pity. Continued. "Earth has a gravitational pull of 9.8 meters per second squared. For most species, this would crush bones within hours. The atmosphere contains 21% oxygen, a concentration toxic to 70% of known life forms. Temperature on the surface ranges from -89 degrees to +57 degrees. Liquid water falls from the sky without warning." A creature with big black eyes made a sound like choking. The floating ball of light flickered and moved away from the hologram. "The planet is covered with predators," said. "In the water, on the land, in the air. Creatures with sharp teeth and fast legs and poison in their blood. Diseases on Earth change faster than galactic medicine can study them. The planet has earthquakes that split the ground open, waves taller than buildings that swallow cities whole, mountains that explode with fire." Paused, he let the silence grow heavy. "Earth also has a magnetic field that damages most navigation implants. Any alien who lands there would be lost, poisoned, crushed, and eaten within days." He turned off the hologram. Earth disappeared. The lights came back on. "This is why," said slowly, "no cadet in the history of this academy has ever come from Earth. No cadet ever could. If any humans still exist on that death trap, they are primitive, cave dwellers, barely able to think, certainly not capable of reaching the stars." Felt something hot rise in her chest. It was not anger, not exactly. It was something older, something her grandmother had taught her when she was small. Pride, quiet, patient pride. She raised her hand. Did not notice at first. He was already moving to his next point, but the cadets around noticed. They turned their heads, their eyes, their sensors toward the small human in the back row. The whispers grew louder. Stopped, he looked up. 8 eyes found in the crowd. "Yes," he said. His voice was cold. "You have a question, Cadet." Stood, her legs were steady. Her voice did not shake. "You said no cadet could come from Earth," she said. "That it was impossible." "That is correct." Let the silence hang for a moment. She looked around the room. 400 aliens stared at her, some with curiosity, some with confusion, some with something that looked like fear. "Then how am I standing here?" The room went completely still. No one moved, no one breathed. Even the floating ball of light stopped flickering. Blinked all 8 of his eyes. "What did you say?" Reached up and touched the name badge on her uniform. She had pinned it there that morning with careful fingers. It showed her name in galactic letters, Cadet Park. Below that, in smaller text, were two words that had caused 3 administrators to faint when they processed her application. Planet of origin, Earth. "My name is Park," she said. "I was born in Earth. I served 3 years in the Republic of Korea Marine Corps before I found a crashed ship in the mountains and taught myself to fly it. I crossed 47 light years to be here. I passed every test your academy sent me." She paused, her eyes met Sate. "You said humans are primitive, that we live in caves, that we cannot think." She smiled, but it was not a warm smile. It was the smile of someone who had survived things these aliens could not imagine. "I am standing in your academy, Commander. I followed your rules. I filled out your forms. I wore your uniform. And now I am asking you a simple question." The whole room waited. "If Earth is so deadly," said, "if nothing can survive there, if humans are just animals hiding in the dark, then how did I get here? How am I standing in front of you right now?" She did not look away. She did not blink. "Maybe," she said quietly, "you need to think about what kind of creature can survive a Category 9. Maybe you should ask yourself what we had to become to live on a planet like that. Because I am not special, Commander. On Earth, I am normal. There are 8 billion more just like me." The silence was so deep that could hear her own heartbeat. Then somewhere in the crowd, someone started clapping. 1 person, then 2, then 10. The sound grew until it filled the whole hall, bouncing off the walls like thunder. Stared at for a long moment, his 8 arms hung still at his sides. "Cadet Park," he said finally, "report to the Commandant's office after this session." Nodded once, she sat back down in her seat. Around her, 400 aliens were still staring, but now the fear in their eyes was not fear of Earth. It was fear of her. Folded her hands in her lap and smiled. The Commandant's office was at the top of the Academy's tallest tower, walked through long white hallways past windows that showed nothing but stars. Every alien she passed stopped to stare at her. Word had spread fast. The human from the impossible girl. 2 guards stood outside the Commandant's door. They were big creatures with hard shells and many legs. They looked at like she was a dangerous animal that might bite. She waited patiently until they opened the door. Commandant was very old. He looked like a tree that had learned to walk. His skin was rough like bark. His arms were long like branches. He had been running this academy for 300 years. He had seen thousands of cadets come and go, but he had never seen anything like. Commander was already there. So was another instructor, a reptile called Riven who taught combat classes. Riven had scales the color of dried blood and teeth that showed when he talked. He did not look happy to see. "Sit," said. His voice was slow and deep, like wind moving through leaves. Sat in a chair that was too big for her. Her feet did not touch the floor. She did not let this bother her. "We have a problem," said. "Your application was processed by our automatic systems. The Academy's computer found your broadcast signal, accepted your test scores, and sent you an acceptance letter. No living person reviewed your file until you arrived." "I followed every rule," said. "Yes, that is the problem," leaned forward. "We did not know humans could follow rules. We did not know humans could leave their planet. We thought your species was still learning to make fire." Wanted to laugh but kept her face calm. "We learned to make fire a very long time ago, Commandant. Now we split atoms and build machines that think." Riven made an angry sound. "Impossible. Earth is a death zone. Nothing intelligent could evolve there. This must be a trick. She must be a spy from one of the outer colonies pretending to be human." Reached into her pocket and pulled out a small device. She placed it on the table. "This is my identification. DNA sample, biometric scan, birth records from City Hospital. You can test my blood if you want. I am human. I was born on Earth. These are facts." Picked up the device with his long branch fingers. He studied it for a long moment. Then he passed it to, who passed it to Riven. "The data is genuine," admitted. Our systems confirm it. Riven threw the device back on the table. Then explain how she got here. Earth has no space program capable of reaching us. Told them the story. 40 years ago, an alien ship crashed in the mountains of Korea. The government kept it secret. Scientists studied it for decades, trying to understand the technology. When was 19, she was assigned to guard the research facility. When she was 21, she started learning to fly the ship in secret. When she was 22, she pointed it at the stars and left. "You stole a ship," Riven said. "I borrowed a ship that was not being used," replied. "The aliens who crashed it were dead. They did not need it anymore." Made a sound that might have been a laugh. It was hard to tell with tree people. "You taught yourself to fly an alien spacecraft." "Yes." "With no training." "With a lot of mistakes," admitted. "I crashed twice before I got it right, but humans are good at learning from mistakes. We have had a lot of practice." Riven stood up. His scales caught the light. "This is ridiculous. Even if she is human, she cannot stay here. The Academy has standards. Our cadets are chosen from advanced civilizations. Earth is a Category 9. Its people are dangerous, unpredictable, violent. Letting her train here puts everyone at risk." Looked at him. "You think I am dangerous because I come from a hard place?" "Yes." "Then you are smarter than you look." Riven's eyes went wide. For a moment, thought he might attack her. His claws were sharp and his muscles were tight, but raised one branch arm and the reptile went still. "Enough," the commandant said. "Cadet Park, you present us with a difficult situation. You followed our rules, you passed our tests. By our own laws, you have a right to be here, but many will say you do not belong. They will try to make you fail. They will try to make you leave." "I understand," said. "Do you? The Crucible trials begin next week. They are designed to break cadets from soft worlds. You will receive no special treatment, no adjustments for your species. If you fail, you will be expelled." Stood up from her chair. She was short. The three aliens towered over her like mountains, but she did not feel small. "On Earth," she said, "we have a season called winter. The temperature drops below freezing. Food becomes hard to find. Many animals die, but not humans. We learn to build fires. We learn to make warm clothes. We learn to store food. Every winter tried to kill us, and every winter we survived." She looked at Riven. "Your trials are designed to break cadets from soft worlds, but I am not from a soft world. I am from Earth. My planet tried to kill my ancestors every single day for 200,000 years. We did not just survive. We became the dominant species. We conquered our world before we even knew other worlds existed." She walked toward the door, then she stopped and looked back. "I will take your trials, Commandant. I will not ask for help. I will not ask for mercy. And when I pass, I want you to remember this moment. Remember the day you thought a human could not survive your academy." She opened the door. "Because there are 8 billion of us on Earth. And now that we know you are out here, we will not stop coming." She left the office. The door closed behind her. In the silence, turned to, "What do you think?" Was quiet for a long moment. "I think," he said slowly, "that we have made a very serious mistake. For centuries, we assumed Earth was too dangerous for intelligent life. We never considered the alternative." "What alternative?" Looked at the door where had disappeared. "That Earth did not prevent intelligence. It created something else. Something that survived the fire, the ice, the poison, the predators. Something that did not just live on it but conquered it." He paused. "We thought no intelligent species could survive Earth. But what if Earth created the most dangerous intelligent species of all?" Riven made a nervous sound. Said nothing. But in the corner of the room, hidden by shadows, a young woman with black hair and brown eyes listened to every word. Her name was Sara Lee. She had been hiding at this academy for 3 years, pretending to be from a distant colony world. She was not. She was from Seoul, Earth. She was human just like. and she knew that everything was about to change. The Crucible trials began on a cold morning, stood in a line with 99 other cadets on a gray planet called. The sky was orange. The ground was hard. The air tasted like metal. This was the first test, gravitational endurance. Had gravity 1.4 times stronger than Earth? For most aliens, this was crushing. Their bodies were built for lighter worlds. Within the first hour, 20 cadets fell to their knees. By the third hour, 40 more had dropped out, carried away by medical drones. Kept walking. The test was simple. Walk from one side of the valley to the other. Carry a pack full of rocks. Do not stop. Do not fall. The aliens around her gasped and groaned. Their legs shook. Their backs bent under the weight. Thought about home. She thought about basic training in the Korean Marines, carrying 60 pounds of gear through monsoon rain for 30 kilometers. She thought about her grandmother, who carried water up a mountain every day until she was 80 years old. This gravity was heavy, but it was not heavier than home. A four-armed alien named Vex walked near her. He was big, from a world with strong gravity, but even he was struggling. He looked at with confused eyes. How, he gasped, are you not dying? Shrugged, I am used to it. Used to it? This is 1.4 times your world's gravity. Yes, on Earth, we train with extra weight to make us stronger. Soldiers carry heavy packs until their bodies adapt. Athletes push themselves until they break, then push harder. We have been doing this for thousands of years. Vex stared at her. Your species tortures itself for strength. We call it exercise, said. We do it for fun. She kept walking. Vex followed her, too amazed to give up. By the end of the first trial, only 31 cadets finished, came in 4th place. Vex came in 9th. That night he asked if he could train with her. She said yes. The second trial was on a planet called the Sulfur Pits. Cadets had to cross a valley filled with poison gas using small breathing masks that only worked for short periods. Most aliens panicked. Their lungs were sensitive. Their bodies rejected the chemicals. Had grown up in a city. She had breathed car exhaust and factory smoke since she was a baby. Her lungs knew how to survive dirty air. She moved carefully, holding her breath when she needed to, breathing shallow when she could. She finished in the top 10. How do you do this? Asked a cadet with feathers. The air is poison. On Earth, we have cities where millions of people live close together, explained. The air is often bad. We breathe it anyway. Our bodies learn to survive. The feathered cadet looked horrified. You choose to live in poison. We choose to live, said simply. The poison is just part of it. The third trial was the one enjoyed most. The hunting grounds. Cadets were dropped into a jungle filled with predators. The goal was to survive for 3 days. Most cadets hid. They found caves or climbed trees and waited for the time to pass. Did not hide. On Earth, humans had been prey once. Small and weak, hunted by big cats and wolves and bears, but humans did not stay prey. They learned to make weapons. They learned to set traps. They learned to work together. They became hunters themselves. The predators that once ate them went extinct or learned to run away. Built a spear from a branch and a sharp rock. She found animal tracks and followed them. She dug pits and covered them with leaves. By the second day, she had caught 3 of the jungle predators. By the third day, she was using their meat for food and their bones for tools. When the trial ended, the instructors found her sitting by a fire cooking dinner. Instructor Riven watched the recording later. His scales had gone pale. She hunted them, he said. The predators were supposed to hunt her, but she hunted them. Yes, said Commander, it seems humans are not prey. Then what are they? Did not answer, but the answer was clear. Humans were what happened when prey refused to accept their place in the food chain. The fourth trial was combat, hand-to-hand fighting against training droids. Each droid was programmed with the fighting styles of 200 different species. They could predict movements, counterattacks, and adapt to any strategy. Requested maximum difficulty. The other cadets watched from behind safety glass. The droid was twice her size, made of metal and fast as lightning. It came at her with moves that had defeated champions from a dozen worlds. Moved like water, she did not try to match its strength. She used its power against it. When it punched, she stepped aside and let it hit empty air. When it kicked, she grabbed its leg and twisted. She was small, but she was fast. She was weak, but she was clever. In 4 minutes, the droid was on the ground, sparking and broken. Instructor Riven demanded to know how. Explained. On Earth, we have many fighting styles. Taekwondo, Hapkido, Judo, boxing, wrestling. We have been killing each other for so long that we became very good at it. I learned from teachers who learned from teachers who learned from soldiers hundreds of years ago. Every technique has been tested in real combat. The ones that did not work were forgotten. The ones that worked were passed down. Riven was quiet for a long moment. Then he asked, "Your species fights each other?" "Yes, often." "Why?" "Thought about this. Because we disagree about land, about food, about ideas, about everything. We have fought wars that killed millions. We have destroyed cities and burned forests and poisoned rivers. We are not proud of this, but it made us strong. Every war taught us better ways to fight. Every battle made us harder to kill." She paused. "You think your academy can break me? Your trials are difficult, yes, but they are safe. There are rules. There are medical drones. On Earth, our trials have no rules. Our wars have no referees. We either win or we die. That is how we have always lived." When the Crucible trials ended, ranked 3rd overall out of 400 cadets, she had beaten aliens from soft worlds and hard worlds alike. She had proven that humans were not primitive cave dwellers. They were survivors of the most dangerous planet in the galaxy. That night returned to her small room in the academy. She was tired but happy. Then she saw the message burned into her wall. "Go back to your dying world, animal." Someone had come into her room while she was gone. Someone who wanted her to know she was not welcome. Stood there for a long moment, looking at the words. Then she smiled. They were scared of her. Good, they should be. She had survived worse than words on a wall. She had survived Earth. She lay down on her bed and closed her eyes. Tomorrow there would be more training. More aliens to impress and enemies to face. More chances to show the galaxy what humans could do. She was ready. 3 months passed at the academy, trained every day. She studied tactics and weapons and starship systems. She learned about alien cultures and galactic laws. She made friends she never expected to make. Vex became her training partner. The 4-armed alien had been humbled after losing to her in a sparring match. Instead of anger, he felt curiosity. He wanted to learn human fighting techniques. In exchange, he taught her his people's style of combat, which used all 4 arms at once. They practiced together every morning before classes. Other cadets started joining them. Word had spread about the human from the. Some wanted to see if the stories were true. Others wanted to learn her secrets. Soon, was leading a small training group of aliens from 6 different worlds. But not everyone wanted to be her friend. One night, a young woman appeared at its door. She had black hair and brown eyes and skin the color of sand. She looked human, because she was human. "My name is Sora Lee," she said. "I am from Seoul. I have been at this academy for 3 years. Stared at her. "You are human, but they said I was the first." "You are the first to tell the truth about where you come from," Sora said. "I have been hiding, pretending to be from a small colony world that does not exist. It was the only way they would let me in." She came inside and closed the door. Then she told the real story of humanity and the galaxy. Earth was never as alone as humans thought. Aliens had been watching for centuries. Most kept their distance because Earth was too dangerous to visit, but some crashed there by accident. Their ships, their technology, their bodies were found and studied in secret. Governments around the world learned the truth but kept it hidden. Humans did not wait to be invited to the stars. They taught themselves. They reverse-engineered crashed ships. They built their own technology using alien designs they did not fully understand. And then, quietly, secretly, they started sending colony ships into the dark. There are humans on dozens of worlds now, Sora said. Hidden colonies, secret settlements, all of them hiding because there is a group in the galaxy that wants us extinct. Who asked? They call themselves the Purists. They believe humans are too dangerous to be allowed off Earth. They have been hunting us for centuries, destroying colonies, killing anyone they find. They say we are a plague that will spread and destroy everything. Felt cold. Why do they hate us so much? Sora looked at her with tired eyes. Because they are right. Humans are dangerous. We adapt to any environment. We breed quickly. We learn fast. We fight hard. Every world we touch, we change. Every system we enter, we spread. The purists looked at human history and saw a species that killed its own planet, warred with itself for thousands of years, and never stopped growing. They are afraid of what we will become. Before could respond, there was a knock on the door. Vex's voice came through. There is an announcement. All cadets must report to the Grand Hall. The Grand Hall was full when they arrived. Commandant stood on the stage with several officers did not recognize. One of them was tall with blue skin and 6 eyes that never blinked. He wore the uniform of an admiral. This is Admiral said. He has come to inspect the academy. Felt Sora grab her arm. That is him, Sora whispered, the leader of the purists. Walked to the front of the stage. His 6 eyes scanned the crowd. When they found, they stopped. He smiled, but it was not a kind smile. I have heard interesting things about this year's cadets, said. I understand there is a human among you, the first to officially join the academy, a female from the itself. Did not look away. She met all 6 of his eyes. I would like to meet this human, continued, to see what kind of creature Earth produces. No one moved, then stepped forward. She walked through the crowd until she stood at the foot of the stage, looking up at the Admiral. I am Park, she said. What would you like to know? Studied her like she was an insect. You are smaller than I expected, weaker. I thought creatures would be more impressive. Size is not everything, replied. On Earth, some of the most dangerous animals are very small. Mosquitoes kill more humans than any predator. Bacteria have destroyed entire civilizations. We learned long ago not to judge threats by their appearance. Smile faded. You speak boldly for a primitive. On Earth, we call it honesty. The Admiral stepped down from the stage until he was standing directly in front of her. Up close, he was massive. He could have crushed her with one hand. Your species is a plague, he said quietly, so only she could hear. Aggressive, adaptable, relentless. You breed like parasites and consume everything in your path. The galaxy would be safer with Earth reduced to ash. Did not step back. Maybe, but we are not easy to kill. Others have tried. They are gone now. We are still here. Leaned closer. That will change. He straightened up and walked back to the stage. Thank you for your hospitality, Commandant. I have seen what I came to see. I will make my report to the council. After he left, Sora found in the crowd. He will try to have you removed, or worse. Let him try, said. That night could not sleep. She kept thinking about what Sora had told her. Humans scattered across the galaxy, hiding and afraid. Colonies destroyed. Families killed. All because the galaxy was afraid of what humans might become. She thought about her grandmother back on Earth. The old woman who had survived war and poverty and loss, who had taught to be strong when the world was cruel, who had told her stories about ancestors who crossed oceans and climbed mountains and refused to die. Humans had always been hated, by nature, by each other, now by the stars themselves, and yet they kept going, they kept fighting, they kept surviving. Was right about one thing, humans were dangerous. They were adaptable and relentless and impossible to stop. But that was not a weakness. That was their greatest strength. Stood at her window and looked at the stars. Somewhere out there, hidden humans were watching, waiting, hopping. She would give them something to hope for. The final examination was called the Siege of Station. 400 cadets were divided into fleets. Each fleet would try to capture a space station defended by Academy drones. The fleet that succeeded would graduate with honors. The fleets that failed would have their lowest performing members expelled. Was assigned to Delta Squadron, the lowest ranked cadets, the failures and misfits that no one expected to survive. Admiral had arranged it personally before he left. He wanted her to fail in front of everyone. Her squadron included Sora, Vex, and 12 other cadets from different worlds. They gathered in a small briefing room while other squadrons got real ships and real weapons. Delta Squadron got old shuttles and outdated equipment. Their odds were the worst in the Academy. "This is unfair," Vex said. "They have set us up to lose." "Then we will not lose," replied. She looked at her team. They were scared. Some had never been in real combat situations. Others had been told their whole lives that they were not good enough. They expected to fail because everyone expected them to fail. Had seen this before. In the Marines, she had served with soldiers who came from nothing, poor kids from small villages, orphans with no families, people the world had given up on, and she had watched them become heroes because someone finally believed in them. "Listen to me," she said. "They think we are the weakest. They think we will break. Good. Let them think that. On Earth we have a saying. The nail that sticks up gets hammered down. But we have another saying too. The bamboo that bends does not break." She pulled up a map of the station on her screen. "The other squadrons will use standard tactics. They will attack the station directly, try to overwhelm it with numbers. They will follow the rules they learned in class. But humans did not conquer Earth by following rules. We survived by breaking them." Sora leaned forward. "What do you have in mind?" Smiled. "On Earth we have fought wars where we were always outnumbered. We could not match our enemies in strength. So we learned to fight differently. We called it guerrilla warfare. Hit and run, tricks and traps, make the enemy confused and angry and tired, then strike when they do not expect it." She pointed at the station's weak points. "The drones are programmed to fight fleets, big, organized attacks. They are not programmed to fight ghosts. We will not attack the station. We will haunt it." For the next 2 hours, explained her plan. They would use their old shuttle's small size to hide in the debris field around the station. They would attack in small groups, then disappear before the drones could respond. They would send false signals to confuse the station's sensors. They would make the drones chase shadows while the real attack came from somewhere else. "One more thing," said. "I want to play music." Vex looked confused. "Music?" "Human war music. On Earth, we played drums and horns before battle to scare our enemies. We sang songs to give ourselves courage. The drones have audio sensors. They will hear our music and not know what it means. It will make them hesitate. That hesitation is our weapon." The battle began at dawn. Alpha Squadron attacked first. They had the best ships and the most experienced pilots. They flew straight at the station in perfect formation. The drones cut them apart in 20 minutes. Half their fleet was disabled before they could retreat. Beta Squadron tried a flanking maneuver. The drones predicted it and set a trap. Another defeat. Gamma Squadron was smarter. They sent decoys and attacked from multiple angles. They lasted longer, but in the end the drones adapted and beat them too. Then it was Delta Squadron's turn. The other squadrons watched from the sidelines, waiting to see the failures fail. The instructors watched with bored eyes. Commander expected to fill out expulsion paperwork within the hour. Delta Squadron did not attack. Instead, they disappeared into the debris field around the station. Their old shuttles were slow and weak, but they were also small and hard to detect. They hid among the rocks and broken metal like mice hiding from cats. Then the music started. It was a song from Korea, an old war song about soldiers who fought against impossible odds. The words were in Korean, which no alien understood, but they understood the feeling, the drums, the passion, the defiance. The drones heard it and did not know what to do. They were programmed to identify and respond to military communications. This was not military. This was something else, something that made their systems uncertain. While the drones hesitated, Delta Squadron struck. 3 shuttles appeared from nowhere and attacked a sensor array. Before the drones could respond, they were gone. 5 minutes later, another group hit a weapons platform, then another, then another. The station could not find them. Every time the drones chased one group, another group attacked from behind. The music never stopped. It echoed through space like a ghost. Inside the station's command center, the defense systems started to fail. Not because they were destroyed, but because they could not predict where the next attack would come. They were designed to fight armies. They did not know how to fight shadows. Watched from her shuttle, she saw the pattern. The drones were getting frustrated. They were wasting energy chasing phantoms. The station's shields were weakening as power was redirected to weapons. Now, she said. She flew her shuttle straight at the station, not toward the defended areas, toward a small maintenance hatch that no one was watching. Sara flew beside her. Vex and 3 others followed. They crashed through the hatch and into the station itself. The corridors were narrow, perfect for close combat. The drones inside were big and slow, moved fast. She had fought in tight spaces before, in buildings and tunnels back on Earth. She knew how to use walls and corners as weapons. Vex used his 4 arms to fight 3 drones at once. Sora hacked into the station systems and shut down the alarms. The other cadets held the corridor, refusing to let any drone pass. Reached the command center. 1 drone stood between her and victory. It was the biggest one, designed to protect the station's core. She had no weapon. Her gun had run out of power 2 corridors back. She had nothing but her hands and her will. The drone attacked, did not try to fight it directly. She ran toward it, slid under its legs, and climbed onto its back. She found the panel that covered its central processor and tore it open with her bare hands. Inside were wires and circuits. She did not know which ones to cut, so she grabbed them all and pulled. The drone fell. Stood in the command center, breathing hard. Her hands were bleeding. Her uniform was torn, but she was standing. She pressed the button that ended the simulation. Delta Squadron had captured station. The graduation ceremony was 3 days later. Commandant stood at the podium and spoke to the assembled cadets and instructors and guests from across the galaxy. For 300 years I believed I understood courage, he said. Today I learned that I understood nothing. He called to the stage. She walked through the crowd, her squadron behind her. Sara and Vex and the 12 cadets who had been called failures. They did not look like failures anymore. Cadet Park said, "You were given the worst odds, the worst equipment, the worst position, and you won. How?" Looked at the crowd. She saw aliens who had feared her, aliens who had hated her, aliens who now looked at her with something new in their eyes. "Humans do not win because we are strongest," she said. "We win because we do not quit. We win because we help each other. We win because when someone tells us something is impossible, we prove them wrong." Placed a pin on her uniform. Lieutenant Park, first human officer in the Galactic Fleet. "The galaxy feared what humans might become," said. "Perhaps that fear was right, but today I do not see a threat. I see an ally I am honored to stand beside." Turned to face the crowd one last time. "You said no human could stand here," she said. "But you were wrong. We survived ice ages and plagues and wars. We survived our own planet trying to kill us every single day. You thought Earth was our prison, but it was our training ground. She looked up at the stars visible through the glass ceiling. We are not here to conquer. We are not here to destroy. We are here because we are human. And humans go where they are told they cannot go. We do what we are told we cannot do. We survive what we are told will kill us. Somewhere in the galaxy, on hidden worlds and secret stations, humans watched the broadcast. They saw one of their own standing tall among the stars. And they knew that the galaxy would never be the same. Back on Earth, in a small apartment inn, an old woman watched her granddaughter on a tiny screen. Tears ran down her wrinkled face. She had told stories about the stars when she was small. She had told her that humans could do anything if they refused to give up. Now her granddaughter was proving it to the universe. The old woman smiled and whispered the words she had taught long ago. We are human, we endure, we overcome, we survive. And somewhere in the endless dark between stars, the galaxy listened.